So, welcome back. So, let's know today what is radio frequency. So, what is RF? So, today we are going to discuss the RF frequency and associated products. So, let's begin the show. First of all, what is radio frequency? Now, what is RF? Then next another term is what is antenna. So, nowadays we are hearing the terms antenna. So, antenna, what is antenna? So, antenna क्या है? What about the antenna? So, in this session we will know everything about radio frequency antenna. Nowadays another terms 5G. So, why 5G? Why not 4G and 3G? Still we have up to 4G, we have 3G, we have, still why we are going to 5G? There is any reason that in this session we will discuss this. Why we are fond of higher frequency? Day by day हम लोग higher frequency की तरफ जा रहा है. Means we are going to high frequency. Is there any reason? So we will discuss this thing and how actually RF communication happen. So how total details I will discuss. कैसे RF communication होता है, how it will communicate from one place to another place. And one more thing I would like to include here, how NASA receives signal from very far away, few 4 kilometers from spacecraft or satellite. So that is the basic in long distance communication, how it will communicate. So in this session just stay with us, we will discuss one by one. हम लोग discuss करेंगे. तो first we will come what is radio frequency. So radio frequency, what is the frequency spectrum? Frequency is we define by hertz. Frequency हम लोग hertz से define करते हैं. तो this is a NASA website, they released one frequency spectrum. Left side is radio spectrum, this is radio spectrum, right side is optical spectrum. So we will discuss up to this side. So radio spectrum is basically 3 kilohertz to 300 gigahertz. This range now we are defined by this range. So whatever the signal 3 kilohertz to 300 gigahertz, we will call them as a radio frequency. Now in this band we defined different standard. So low frequency range, medium frequency range. So medium frequency range, some kilohertz is there. So you can remember is a childhood or now the radio, when we saw some radio better. तो जब हम लोग गान सुनते हैं वो जो फ्रीक्वेंसी बैंड है दैट इज मीडियम फ्रीक्वेंसी बैंड, सम किलोहर्ट्ज रेंज, सपोज 1400 kilohertz, that kind of range is there. So 100 kilohertz to this range is medium wave frequency. Then it will come to high frequency range, it is order of megahertz. Then it will go to VHF, very high frequency. Then it will go to UHF, upper high frequency. So most importantly VHF, this frequency is 30 to 300 megahertz and UHF sometimes more than 300 to maybe 1 gigahertz. So this is another way is super high frequency, extreme high frequency. This way all the frequencies defined. This is actually microwave range, this is radio frequency range, both way it is correct. Now this all about the radio frequency. ये actually radio frequency कौन सा बैंड में है इसका जानकारी मिल गया है. Now I am going to another terms, what is antenna. Usually we will to know the antenna, this is a base station antenna. So mobile tower nowadays we are very familiar in this decade. Another in this case several antenna, several kind of antenna you can view from on base station. This is another kind of antenna, the earth station we are used. This is a parabolic antenna, it is used here. So antenna is a, suppose when you are there is a transmitter and there will be a receiver. So antenna is a medium of communication. When you suppose we have a signal, so we have to send the signal. So who will carry the signal? Suppose I wrote something, मैंने कुछ लिखा है, उसको भेजना पड़ेगा. तो भेजने के लिए कुरियर बुलाते हैं, कुरियर लेटर को भेजते हैं. तो यहाँ पे एंटेना जो वो मीडियम है जहाँ पे हम डेटा बनाया वो डेटा को वो लेके भेज देंगे. सो एंटेना इज इट्स जस्ट सेंडिंग ए सिग्नल, ही इज ए कैरियर. he carry the content of the signal. Now antenna based on different structure, different gain properties also, antenna have different. So for high power we use high power big dimension antenna. So antenna, there is a lot of variation in antenna, that sometimes called patch antenna, that is microstrip based antenna, planar antenna, PCB based antenna. Sometime for long distance communication, high gain, we use this big antenna. Now in household application we saw DTH. So in every house, on roof terrace, on antenna is there DTH antenna. So it is close to 1 meter diameter, or sorry, half meter, maybe less. So this is coming from the satellite. So it will, signal is coming from satellite. So this way antenna, in both way we can transmit signal and we can receive the signal. So antenna से हम लोग transmit भी कर सकते हैं और same antenna से हम receive भी कर सकते हैं. So that's all about the antenna. Now I am coming, why 5G, why not 4G or 3G or 2G. So 5G is a abbreviation, 5th generation. So what about the frequency? So 5G frequencies, there is a still debate is going on. So based on commercial and available components, 5G we can take any frequency band, 3.3 gigahertz to 4 gigahertz, or some kinds you can go up to 10 gigahertz, till 10 gigahertz or more than that. So this telephonic for telecommunication purpose, this one of the band is using 3.2 gigahertz to 4 gigahertz range. Now coming to the picture, why 5G? So why we know actually 4G is a frequency band, already is under 2 gigahertz range we are using. So it is 1900 megahertz closely. So 4G band we are using here, where 2G band or 2G or 3G, which one we will tell, 960 to 980 roughly. So this range we use for 2G, and this range is 4G and 3G. 4G actually using the same band of 3G, because 4G use some OFDM signal. OFDM signal is, suppose you are sending a signal, for example 3G, but 4G what we will do, OFDM means at the same time they will give a different phase shift and they will send the signal. So different phase shift, if you send the signal, what happens, you can collect the same. So at this time several messages you are introducing in same time, so you will get a more bandwidth and more data you can share. That is the key concept of 4G. Anyway, so 4G, over the 4G, why we are going to 5G? So because it is an increment of frequency, we are always going to higher frequency side.